terms of legacy wise, I was just wondering, you can actually make a case that you can actually see in terms of like who they fought so far that Canelo might have a better legacy than Oscar De La Hoya. Now, a lot of people will probably look at that and think, what am I talking about? But if you think about it, Oscar De La Hoya, every time he's actually stepped up and had to fight, he's fought. He's had a great career and he's had a great resume in terms of all the opponents that he's beaten, all the opponents he's faced, not beaten, sorry, faced. Like if you look at his resume, he's fought the likes of Oscar, like literally Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, Hector Camacho, Chavez Senior twice, like IK Corte, Fernando Vargas, Mayorga, all of these great fighters that he's fought. Shane Mosley as well, we can't forget Shane Mosley, Felix Trinidad, all these great fighters that he's fought, and he's fought everyone. If you actually look at his win to loss ratio, obviously not forgetting Pacquiao as well, his last opponent. If you look at his win to loss ratio, most of the time he's stepped up and actually fought these guys. Even though it's admirable that he's actually fought them, he's actually lost to them. If you think about it, like each time he's had to step up, he's actually lost. Now, obviously the Felix Trinidad fight, most people consider that a robbery, and I think it was a robbery. Obviously you can say this is the second Shane Mosley fight as well. But there's other fights that he's won that could be said to be that should have been wins for the other opponent. If you look at his fight against Pernell Whitaker, a lot of people thought Pernell Whitaker won that fight. If you look at his fight against Felix Sturm, a lot of people thought Felix Sturm won that fight. So you can make a very strong case here in terms of like decisions. You can make a very strong case that Canelo might, in terms of their win-loss ratio, might have a better resume than Oscar De La Hoya overall, because the only person he's actually lost to is Floyd Mayweather. Apart from Floyd Mayweather, he's fought everyone and he's beaten them. And obviously, there have been contentious scorecards. Like a lot of people do think that he may have lost one or two of the Golovkin fights, but I think you can give it to him. Like he has actually beaten these guys. It's just the scorecards at times are just ridiculously in his favor. But can you make the case that he's actually strongly won them fights? In terms of that, you can make the case that he has won them fights. So it's just my opinion, but I'm just thinking, obviously, Oscar De La Hoya, people might say this is a bit premature to think like this because Canelo's career is not over, but I think that even proves it even more, because obviously Oscar De La Hoya's only had, how many fights has he had? Let me check. He's had obviously he's a 10-time world champion in 6 weight classes, but I'm just looking at resume here. He's had 45 fights, and obviously Canelo's had about 50 fights. And the crazy thing is, Canelo's still in his early 30s, so he could easily surpass Oscar De La Hoya's career even more if he was to win the title against Caleb Plant and they go up to light heavyweight and beat the likes of Bivol and Bertabiev and all these other fighters on top of everything else that he's done. Then I think it's a open and shut case that he might have a better resume than Oscar De La Hoya, because Oscar De La Hoya, even though he fought all these opponents, he lost like most of the time. He stepped up and fought Bernard Hopkins, but he got stopped by a body shot. He did fight Floyd Mayweather, but he lost to him. He did fight Pacquiao, but he lost to him. Like he stepped up and he did fight these fights, but every time he had to step up, he did lose. Well, if you look at Canelo, every time he stepped up, and he has a stacked resume, he's won quite decisive. Like you could say there's controversy there with the steroids and the scorecards, which are just ridiculous at times, but you could also make a case that he's won, and on paper he has actually won. The only person he's lost to is Floyd Mayweather, and obviously Oscar De La Hoya's lost like 6 times, I believe, to a lot of good opponents as well. So yeah, that's just my argument. It's just something to think about. Obviously you don't have to agree with my viewpoint, but I think you can make a strong argument that Canelo at this moment in time might have a better resume than Oscar De La Hoya, just based on like wins and losses. Like obviously every time he stepped up, he's won against these guys. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. So tell me what you think below. Subscribe to my channel and obviously like this vid. So I've got a lot more coming your way. Peace out.